TripleTen community. We're so excited to be back and talking to Bill Samboy today. He is one of our graduates who found a job with TripleTen after graduating from our program. So we're so excited to be talking to him today. If you are joining for the first time, we would love to hear where you're joining from. So feel free to pop it in the comments below. And if you have any questions for Bill about his journey during this time, we're absolutely open to hearing them. So feel free to pop those in the comments too. We will give him a couple minutes to join, but in the meantime, we're going to be talking about life after TripleTen, what he thought about the TripleTen program, and any questions from our audience about what it was like to seek a job after he was done. And I am seeing Bill in the comments right now, so we're going to get him to join here. NJ, I think that's New Jersey. And a couple other ones are coming through too. So we'll give Bill a couple minutes, and we're really excited to chat with him today about his experience in TripleTen and after. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hi, hello everybody.
Good to see you again. We're so excited to jump into this live stream with you today. So I'm actually going to hand it right over to you. Do you want to introduce yourself, what program you're in, and kind of how you found TripleTen in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated from Quality Assurance Engineering. Took that course last year, um, and then from there, it took me about 9 months to complete the program, and then from there, I just kept following the steps and moved to where I'm at today, which is actually I'm not even in QA engineering, but it's funny because I'm doing robotics. So it just goes to show the versatility of what you can do with whatever you're taking, whether it's data or QA.
Definitely. And very cool that you kind of utilized your background to get into a job that you really liked and you had background experience in, and then you utilized your TripleTen skills from there on. So very cool to hear about that. So let's kind of start with that background now that we're talking about that. So what did you do before you joined TripleTen, and what led to you wanting to switch careers in the first place? Oh, I think we might be frozen. We'll give him a couple minutes to jump back on here. Hopefully it's just a short freeze. You might be a little bit frozen from Bill. I still see people joining, so I hope it's not a connectivity error on my part. Let me see if I can get him back in here. Bear with us, team. While we figure out some technical difficulties. There we go. Bill's back on. Awesome.
I don't know what happened there. That was
That's
weird.
okay. I'm going to prompt you again with that question just because I know a couple people joined, a couple people left. So what did you do before joining TripleTen, and why were you wanting to make that career switch in the first place?
Yeah, so my background is electrical construction for the power company. Doing that for 13 years. Started as an apprentice, and then I'm pretty much the guy in your backyard. For those that don't know, I'm a lineman, so I'm the guy in your backyard at 2 in the morning hooking up the power. That's who I am. Love the trade. But then I figured that I also love computers, but I've always wanted to get into it. And then once my daughters got a little bit older, I always kept saying, yeah, now's not the time, But there's really never a perfect time, and the perfect time is really never the right time. So I did the transition. I did a little bit of shopping around with checking out other boot camps, and I didn't really know that QA engineering that you could actually do that with the boot camp because engineering is attached to it. So in my mind, you have to have like 5 years of this, go to the university because I've dealt with engineers my whole life. I work in construction, so I was pretty impressed with that. So I narrowed it down to TripleTen, and the reason I went with TripleTen was because I had a pre-screening with a lot of the coaches and mentors, and they kind of pretty much explained to me like how the process is, and actually gave me kind of like a career path. Like I didn't really know a lot about QA, so then they gave me different options, and I was like, wow, QA, that's something that I kind of do now at work, figuring things out. So I signed up for that course, and pretty much after that, the rest was history.
That is so great to hear. And obviously got a job after, which we're going to be talking about your current role and like what that job search was like. But I know you mentioned in talking about that question that you realize there's never a perfect time to change. So what finally made you say like, I'm doing this now?
Well, I say it's never a perfect time because, like, I've been making excuses for 15, 20 years, and then you find out that you're not going to be 20 forever. You're not going to be 30 forever. All of a sudden, I'm 50. But my transformation came because all I do is travel. I've been around all the states because it's beautiful to see the states that's alignment, whether it's winter storms, hurricanes, all that stuff. But I was in Ohio, and that's when I actually said, now's the time. I'm not with my kids. My wife is back home in Florida, and I thought it was just the perfect time to just focus on that. So I signed up for it, and then I was like, I was actually living out of my truck at that moment, not because I didn't have a choice, but because I wanted to save money. You know what I mean? I had a Tundra, and it's just me by myself. So that's when I went through the course, and I said, man, I got two laptops. I put it in the car, and I started taking these courses, and then I was just going from one phase to the next because I was really hungry for wanting to change. I didn't want to be out of state anymore. I didn't want to be like working and not be home, even though the money was good. I just kept missing the freedom is what I was after. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't even the money at my age. It was more about the freedom and doing something that I love. And so that's when the transformation came. And I got into the classes, and the classes were very like, it's not easy, but it was explained in a way where all you have to do is follow the process. And if you get stuck in the process, that's where you have teachers, coaches, engineers, your peers, and Discord was amazing. And the Google like explaining how you're going to do each test was also amazing too. So it was for me a boost of confidence, and it helped me because at first I didn't think I could do it, you know. And when I got the support, it was the most important thing to me was the support from TripleTen. Like you got this. And that led me from one sprint to the next sprint to the next sprint, and I wasn't so hard on myself anymore. I would just apply what I was learning, and then I just started to pick it up.
That's so fair. That's such an inspirational story. You're like, I got to do something right now. I'm ready to make the switch. I want to be home with family more, and I think that really is a testament to a lot of people who joining TripleTen. They're wanting to make that switch. So very cool to hear it from your perspective as well. So I know that you said that you joined an externship program, and we'll get into like what an externship is because I know that's not a common term used. But talking about externships, what was that experience like? What did it teach you about your strengths or the areas that you needed to grow in? And then maybe if you just want to explain what an externship is to folks that don't know.
Absolutely. I didn't know what an externship was. I knew an idea of an internship, and to me I was like an internship, I believe you can get paid while on an internship or you cannot get paid on the internship, but either way you're getting experience. Um, to be honest, I still don't know what I think an externship is almost the same. I don't know. But the whole point was
Basically,
that
yeah.
yeah, I got the same experience as I would in an internship. I didn't get paid money for it, but I got paid something that was far more worth than money, which is something that money can never pay me. That was the experience, the ability to collaborate with others like myself that are new, the ability to get with seasoned veterans and show you what it would be as close to a real life scenario if you were actually working. And so my externship was, excuse me, I was working with Runestone Academy, and pretty much we were just going through the website, and they broke it up into teams. So like me and another gentleman, we were focusing on the log in, log out. Another two-team person would focus on passwords and security. Another person would focus on the buttons and navigation. Very basic to start from there and then grow from there. But really what the externship brought for me, the value was, I realized real quick, like the holes that I had in my game, in my QA game, if that I use holes because it's like when you work, when you like do sports, people find the holes in your weaknesses. So I found out real quick that the externship showed me I got to be better organized. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not that keen in working with databases like I thought, and it put the pressure on me, but not the pressure that I would have if I was in a real scenario. So what I'm saying with the externship is I tell everybody, hey, as soon as they sign up for TripleTen, and I talk to people on chat or whatever, they hit me up. I'm like, did you sign up for an internship? I'm probably way ahead too fast. But they're like, no, I don't even know if they sign up for it because sometimes the internship could be backed up. I have a couple of friends that were waiting. So sign up as soon as you can because the most important thing that you're going to get from that is real life experiences. And after you graduate, you're going to take that externship and you're going to say, wow, okay, this is what I need to work on. If I was in a real scenario, I would need to work on these weaknesses. I would need to learn a little bit more of Python. I would need to learn being more organized. Maybe I need to learn how to work with people a little bit better. So that's what the externship brought to me. So after I was done with the externship, I realized I went to work on the holes on my game, and that was being more organized, working on some coding, and then learning what I needed to learn so that I could be more prepared for a real life actual job scenario.
That is so fair. I feel like that is such a great overview of like what an externship is and like how you leveraged that experience.
Absolutely. And again, everybody might have different experiences, but I always talk to the young people now because the advantage is they're immersed in technology all the time, so they might be able to pick up faster than me, Python, coding, all that stuff, right? But let's say someone my age or someone that has never been into tech, all they done was bang nails and hammers, you know what I'm saying? So when they get into that, they realize that, wow, I have a lot to learn. But if you take it one step by step, you don't have to be what's the point I'm trying to make? Okay, you don't have to push yourself to be the best in the externship. It's okay because I was actually behind about a week or so in the first 2 weeks of that, but I didn't let that deter me. I was like, man, I got to get it together, and then I began to pick up the pace. So that's for me what the externship does. It gives you more value than actually getting a job in that role because if you were to get the job and you weren't prepared and you thought you were prepared, this is what I think the externship does for you. It gives you real life practice, real life scenarios, and puts you in those situations so that you could be better prepared when that time
Yeah.
comes, because the time's going to come to get a
Yeah.
job. It's not
I
a
think
matter of how, it's a matter of when.
absolutely, yes. And showing your weaknesses. So it's like a trial run of like what a job would actually look like. So
Exactly.
speaking of the job itself, so let's talk about job search quickly here. So you mentioned that you were ghosted and faced a lot of rejection during the job search process, as most people do, but how did you deal and cope with that process?
Like, in my opinion, no one's going to be able to get around that. You're going to have to go through the fire of being ghosted, being rejected, and then starting all over again, being ghosted, being rejected, and then starting all over again, being like you could lose your mind. Definitely the hardest thing, what I say is what to me is not actually passing and learning. The actual real life curve is once you graduate from TripleTen and you're armed with the skills, the know-how, the people, the network. But when you get out into the real world and you realize, oh my God, no one's calling me, it could really be it could psychologically impact people in different ways. It could bring up a lot of trauma in people. But what I say is this: prepare for it because like you came to TripleTen to grow. You came to TripleTen to better yourself, to better your family, better your pay, better your freedom, right? So nothing comes for free, nothing comes without a price. I personally was ghosted, still ghosted plenty of times. Even while I have this job, I still apply. I keep myself fresh because I want to know what's out there. Still get ghosted. So please, what I tell everybody is don't take it personal. I took it personal in the beginning, and it's not personal. Don't get mad with the recruiters. A lot of times they're waiting for the upline to give them the green light. Sometimes they don't get the green light. Sometimes their recruiters or I mean, the bosses of the recruiters are doing other things, right? So it's not like the recruiter ghosted you. It's more like they're just waiting. And while you're waiting and doing these things, for me, I didn't just apply on premise. I did Indeed. I did Monster. I actually upgraded my LinkedIn account. It's far worth for me to have a free one I'd rather pay because I'm able to network with people. And you stop because I can go on and ramble. So you just let me know.
No, we
So
love it.
yeah, I, the best tool I can give anyone listening is invest in yourself. Like the $35 that I pay a month, I usually like to go out and eat. But I'm like, I think I can cut McDonald's out and pay 35 bucks a month for LinkedIn to network with someone that could potentially bring me $100,000 job, right? So McDonald's, $100,000 job. So for me, it was a no-brainer. So I invested in myself. I also went and got my resume redone. Even though I think what I do like about TripleTen is they help you with the resume. Please follow the format guidelines that they have with the resume. Because at first I was like, this is so blah. It's like bland food. It's not even appealing. It's boring. Then I realized that it's a system that they follow because a lot of the computers, I can't remember what it's called, ATS, a system won't accept these resumes. So even though yours might look pretty and fabulous in the color and all that, it's not going to get read. So follow the system, follow the guidelines of TripleTen coaches because they've been doing this for a while. And yeah, and I just stayed hungry. I stay hungry even when I'm not hungry. I'm hungry now in terms of once we're done, I log on and I check jobs, roles. I don't stop because I made it, but I didn't make it, if that makes sense. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely. It totally makes sense. I'm seeing a lot of comments actually saying like, yes, we're in the job search process right now. Like it's a grind. Like I applied to over 100 jobs. So how many jobs did you apply to and how did you keep going? Because I know the job market is tough in tech, but it's also tough in all other industries right now. The job market is just there's lots of openings, lots of it's kind of a hectic space right now to be looking for a job, but obviously you got one at the end of the day, which we'll jump into. But how many jobs did you apply to and how did you keep going through all of this
Um,
kind of
in the beginning, I was applying for because I was still, and that's the other thing. I'm not, I'm working full time, and I'm doing the classes full time, and I'm also, doing family. So I was applying for like 50, 60 jobs. Um, Then I started to upgrade it to 80 jobs, and then on the weekends I would apply for jobs too. So on average, I was doing about 60 to 70. I know sometimes that it's even hard for people to do 10 to 15, but the thing is, you have to go above and beyond because everyone else is doing, the average people are doing five, then they take a coffee break. It's too much. Then my eyes hurt. Then they go back. I'm not downplaying people. I'm just saying like that's life. That's how we are. We're humans. We put that off and then we'll come back to it. No, it's like you have to keep putting in your reps. You got to keep putting in your reps and you have to stay disciplined. The most important thing is I would wake up at 5 in the morning and fill out jobs at least 5 or 6 in the morning before I go to work. Yes, it's hard to do because I don't want to get out of bed. I want to be sleeping, but I do it. And then I'd work, and then in the afternoon I'd come back and really knock it out at night, fill out, do 15, 20. If you break it up, I know it sounds, at first it's like, oh, God, 80 jobs a week. How do you, well, if you divide it, you do 20 a day, you do 10 in the morning, 10 here, maybe it's going to be off a little bit, maybe 8 today, maybe 7 tomorrow. But the key is consistency is the key. That's the key. Just like when people post on LinkedIn, those people that you see, you follow them, they're not posting anything that's outrageous. All they're doing is they're being consistent. They're posting every 2 to 3 days, and then you start to build your following. So for me, doing the job applications, I would fill out. I would not only do Prentice, I would go on Indeed.com.
oh shoot, we might have cut out again. We'll give him a couple seconds to join back in. This is such an interesting conversation. I'm loving listening to Bill about this, and I hope everybody else is getting a lot of value From this conversation, we're going to jump next into more about his job search and finding his current job that he's at. So just bear with us a little bit while we reconnect with Bill. And if anybody has any questions for Bill about his job search, about his time at TripleTen, please feel free to pop them in the chat while we reconnect with him. Oh, and he just cut out. Let me see if I can get Bill back on here. Just bear with us here. Okay. Bill was in the quality assurance program for those asking. And if people are still here, you might as well go grab a coffee while we reconnect with Bill. So just bear with us for a moment. It's like the painful, awkward silence while we wait for him to reconnect. If people are wondering about Bill's journey or other people's journeys that have gotten jobs after TripleTen, or students that are still in the program, highly recommend checking out our blog as well. We have a lot of great student stories on there. And we have their LinkedIn's connected too, so you can always reach out and connect with past alumni that are in the program and past graduates as well. And we're going to see if we can invite him one more time to this. You don't need anything. I'm just answering a couple of the questions that are coming through. You don't need anything besides a computer to enroll at TripleTen. Everything is done. It depends on the program you're taking, because we just launched a full-time program as well. That's a little bit fast-tracked, but you just need a computer, and we have asynchronous classes. We also have classes with tutors that you can have office hours in. All of those items are super important to have support during the job search, and our career team is amazing as well. Okay, I think we might have lost Bill for this live stream, but I really appreciate everybody that's joined today. We're going to give him maybe one more second here to see if we can get him back connected. But again, if anybody has questions, feel free to reach back out and ask about TripleTen. You're always welcome to reach out to Bill as well. And if you want us to connect you with any students that have been in the program, or currently in the program, or finished the program, we're more than happy to do that. But stay tuned. We're definitely going to have some more live streams upcoming. And thank you all so much for joining today as well. So this will be posted on our platform. So if you want to go back and watch the rest of the interview with Bill, please feel free.